morning to everyone. So today we are going to discuss about test automation approach, test automation method. What is exactly a test automation? What are the different automation approaches available? What are the different automation methodology that we have to follow? What are the different automation framework is available? And if time permits, we'll start with this introduction of Selenium. Approach to test automation. So here we are going to discuss about a goal of automation testing, benefit of risk analysis, automated test lifecycle, standards, evaluation test tool, application under test, a different type of test automation framework, what are the different type of automation framework, and the last one will be the best practices. Goal of automated testing. The main objective and the main goal why we are conducting automation testing. We have a couple of reasons, we have a couple of advantage and couple of benefits why we are conducting automation testing. Maintainability, reusable, adaptable, efficient, reliable, robust. So as we discussed yesterday, different benefit and advantage of automation testing. Apart from that, we have certain goal why we are going for actually automation testing. So the main goal or the most important goal is maintainability. It is easy to maintain the particular testing because every automation tool will have automated a repository. Whatever the automation scripts you are creating, whatever the automation scripts you are implementing, all the automated scripts maintained properly inside the automation repository. So it is easy to maintainable. We have a couple of management tools like Jira, RQM, Rational Quality Manager, Application Lifecycle Manager, ALM, Quality Center. So these all the different test management tools. Basically, these all management tools are integrate with the automation tool, and it is easy to maintain all the testable scripts. So whatever the scripts I'm creating, whatever the test cases, automated test cases I'm implementing, that automated test cases I can able to maintain clearly whenever it is required in the similar project or in the different projects, I can able to reuse it. So whatever you are maintaining, it is easy and we can able to go for the reusable concept. For example, if I take an example of any website, the initial and the common thing will be a login functionality. So if I want to conduct and if I want to perform any transaction, user need to come across through the login functionality. So what I can do is I can create and I can implement one automated test scripts for the login functionality, and I can store inside the automation framework, inside the automation repository, and whenever it is required I can retrieve those information and I can able to implement in my project. Third point, adaptable. It is easy to adapt those particular things. Whatever the scripts you are creating, it is very easy that you can adapt and you can put into a different location, different configuration environment. It is possible. Efficient, more reliable comparing with the manual testing, and completely robust because every automated testing tool supports a different programmatical skills. Basically, using the different programmatical skills, you can able to make more realistic or more detailed and testing can be conducted against the application which you want to test. So these are the major goal that why we are going for the automation testing. The next thing is automation testing life cycle. If you remember in the last class, we discussed about the testing life cycle like unit testing, integration. So that is a common thing. Either you are working on manual or either you are working on automation, you have to follow the different testing stages. But when you talk about test automation, if I want to complete, if I want to cover automation testing, what all the stages I have to follow? So there are 5 different stages. Decision to automate test. First thing, you need to take a proper decision why we need to go for the automation, because automation is the add-on benefit for the application when it comes to the testing. Automation testing can be implemented for single functionality, or automation can be implemented the whole software. So automation can be implemented either in a single or small functionality, or it can be implemented whole working functionality. So we have to take a proper decision. Either we want to implement the automation on single feature and functionality or the whole application. Second is test tool acquisitions. That means selection of testing tool. Whether you are going to select the licensed version commercial product, or we have to go for the open source. Number 3, test planning and test designing. How exactly we have to create or implement the automated test cases, the test tool which we have selected. How exactly we have to create or we have to plan for all the test cases that we have to plan, and we need to design and implement it. First is you have to make a proper decision, because we have a lot of different functional and performance related automation tools available in market. So first thing is you need to decide whether you really required to go for automation testing or not. If yes, then we need to find the reason why do we need to go for automation. Second, after once you selected the proper decision and reasons for automation, you have to select the appropriate testing tool. Whether we want to go for the open source automation tool, or whether we want to plan for the commercial automation tool. So the tool need to be planned and selected. Number 3, test planning and designing. After once you selected the automation tool, you have to plan how exactly you are going to implement the test cases or testing by the selected tool. After once you finish this 3 part, the next thing is execution and management, because test execution need to be conducted according to the priority, according to the client priority, according to the risk factor, according to the size of the requirement. So there will be a lot of factors need to be considered. So how exactly we are going for conducting the test execution, which functionality we are going execution, because nowadays process there is a everything inside automation, the whole process. So you have to select the appropriate management tool, appropriate methodology, and how exactly we have to execute it. Once the execution plan has been completed, once you plan for the management level and assessment. Review and assessment is basically used to check the level or check the coverage. Whatever we plan, whatever work we are doing, after once we completed that particular task, we have to measure that particular work, how much you have completed, how much is remained to complete. So the measurement is very important. So if I want to conduct an automation testing in my project, I cannot implement automation project inside my project directly. I have to go for all this proper planning and preparation. First, I need to take a proper decision. Then I need to select the testing tool type. Then I have to go for planning and design. After that, I have to select the execution method and management. And the last one will be I have to go for the review and assessment. So first we discussed about the goal of automation testing. What is the major goal and objective that we are going for automation testing? Second, we have discussed about the life cycle. If I want to implement automation testing in my project, what is the step-by-step process that I need to follow? The next thing is setting the standards. When you talk about automation testing, here there will be some programmatical things. Because as I said earlier, every automation tool supports different programming skills. So you have to implement a proper standards for each and everything. Standard for scripts, directory structure, data pool should be set. Also defect tracking, that is how to log errors in the scripts. Submitting the defect should be a standardized. Coding and environment standards helps to have a unified approach for the test automation. So after once you completed the 5 stage, when you plan to actually implement the automation testing, you have to set the standards. So standards will be set for naming standards, coding standard. So whatever the deliverables comes to, or whatever the deliverables are related with the testing project, all the deliverables should be a proper standardized one. If I'm creating a test cases, every test cases should have a proper unique identification number, and the unique identification number should be properly created according to the standards. If I'm going to log the defect, again, that logging the defect need to be maintained the proper standards. And if you ask the question like, why do we need to follow the standards and method? It will be helpful to identify that particular things easiest way from that application. Because for a project, for a requirement, we will be writing a huge number of test cases. We are going to be create a huge number of test scripts. So how exactly you are going to maintain all those things? How exactly you are going to identify uniquely? So with the help of this particular identification, and if these unique identifications are properly implemented according to the standards, it is easy to understand in the later stage of the project life cycle. Now, when you next things, test automation framework. What are the different type of framework is available? So the first common framework will be a record playback method. It is also called as a capture replay approach. Design a test case in the test management tool. Using the capture feature of automation testing tool, record the user action, enhance the recorded script with the verification point where some of the property or data is verified against the existing baseline. Playback the script and observe the result in the log of the test management tool. See, every automation tool, if I take functional testing tool, performance testing tool, or any type of automation API testing tool, every testing tool, there is one common methodology will be called as a record playback, capture play, replay method. So what is this method and how this method will be get implemented? So this method is something which is basically used to record all the user activity. For example, I want to search something in the Google search window. So what I will do, I will go to the Google search box. I will enter like fundamentals of software testing, and it will show you the some link. I will click on the link. So all these activities can be observed and captured inside the testing tool, and after completing my business process, I can stop recording, and when I click on play, whatever I recorded, that everything will be get replayed and executed. So this is the very common method for every automation tool. And nowadays in Selenium also we have this particular method with the help of the Selenium ID. But if you ask, like, is it this methodology is really really more important, and will be these methodologies are using nowadays? Yes, we are using, but we are not using lot of things, because means we have started reducing these particular techniques, because there are a lot of reasons, there are a lot of drawbacks are available. But this is also one of the way to capture the business process, and you can conduct your testing. Next, we have some couple of test automation framework. So next is we have the couple of test automation framework. A test automation framework is a set of assumptions, concepts, and practices that provide support for automated software testing. So a test automation framework is a set of assumptions, concepts, and practices that provides the support of automated software testing. So basically, every automation tool have automation framework. So what is framework? Is set of instruction. A set of instruction how exactly you have to conduct a testing, how exactly you have to validate the selected object, how exactly step by step you have to complete a testing for that selected method, a selected object, that is called as an automation framework. We can create a test cases, we can create a test scripts without automation, without framework, or we can create a test cases with the help of the framework. If you ask the question, what is the importance, why do we need to follow the framework? Let me show you some of the framework, so you will get a good idea why do we need to go for automation framework. Hello, go ahead. There are 4 important and 4 common test automation framework is available. Test script modular framework, data driven testing, keyword or table driven testing, and hybrid test automation framework. So first we can see the modular framework. In this framework, the test scripts are divided in a small independent script that represent as a modules, sections, and functions of the application under test. So here what we are going to do is, you can see in the left side and the right side, you can see the diagram. Left side you can see test scripts without any framework, and the right side test script with a modular framework. So here you can see these are the different transaction. Login is one transaction, selecting the flight, enter the credit card detail, confirm the booking, and log out. See, I can create one test cases and I can write the code of all these 5 different transactions together, which is called as, we are not following any framework, we are just writing the script and we are executing the script. Suppose when I'm following this method, and inside this particular method I created all scripts in a single test cases. Now I want this login test cases need to be reused for some other application also. Or I can say I created a file. inside the file, I have a test cases, I have a test scripts for all these 5 transactions. I want to reuse only this login transaction. And if I'm trying to copy this login transaction, I cannot able to make a copy because it contains the rest of the transaction detail also, which I don't want. So in this case, what I can do is I can make it as a separate module, as a separate transaction. Or in the easiest way, I can able to explain this one. I created one class. Inside the class, I have included all these 5 transactions. Or I can go for creating a separate class, and every separate class, it contains the different transaction detail in the Java term. So what happened if I create a separate class for all individual transactions level, so I can able to easily reuse the transaction which is required for the later or in future enhancement. So it is always advisable when you are going to conduct a testing, use automated framework. So the first framework will be called as a modular framework. So what we are going to do is here, we are going to create a separate module according to the transaction, and we'll create the test cases. When I'm going to work with the Selenium, what I'm going to do is I will create a separate class, login class, select flight schedule as a separate class, credit card details separate class, confirm the booking separate class, logout is a separate class. Then it is easy that if I want to reuse any one of the transaction, it is easy to reuse it. If I put everything together, it is not possible to use as a reusability concept. And the main objective and the goal of automation testing is reusability. So why modular framework is important? Because the main objective of automation testing is reusable, and until and unless if I'm not implementing the modular framework, I cannot able to reuse it. The next one will be a data-driven framework. A data-driven framework is where test input and output values are read from the data file and are loaded into the variable and captured or manually coded the scripts. You can see the example, the left side without any framework, the right side data-driven framework. The left side you can see login, username is equal to ABC, password is equal to ABC. Where in the right side you can see login, username, select from the data file called XYZ, password, select from the data file called XYZ. So what is the difference here? I have a login functionality where I need to pass the username and password. So when I want to pass user defined value, I have a 2 method. One is I can define the constant value inside my code, which is called as a hard coded value. So this is called a hard coded value. If I execute 100 times, every time it will take the input as ABC and ABC as a username and password. Where in the right side, it will take the username and password from the file called XYZ. So basically here, if I want to validate and verify my banking application, I want to verify the customer ID and customer password. So I cannot write the customer ID and password every time inside my program and I can able to validate. So what I can do is I can create one separate Excel file which contains username and password list. During the execution time, I can call that particular value as a runtime parameter and I can pass in my code and I can able to complete the execution. When you are executing your code with the help of the external data as an input will be called as a data-driven framework. If you ask like external file could be only an Excel file, no. If your application is available in any of the database like Oracle, DB2 or SQL Server, you can also fetch those particular value and you can able to use it as a runtime data parameter input condition. So this is called as a data driven framework. Number 3, keyword framework. This requires the development of data table and keyword independent of the test automation tool used to execute them. In a keyword driven, the functionality of the application and the test is documented in a table as well as step-by-step instructions for each test. So basically, keyword driven is equal to non-programmatical way to implement your test cases. I cannot show you much more detail about this thing. If in future, if it is possible, that time I can able to explain it, because it is like completely non-programming. First two areas where we will be implementing actual program, and this one is completely a different one where testers deal with the tabular format where we will enter the input, expected condition, and everything. It's look like a tabular format, so which is called as a keyword driven. And the last one will be called as a hybrid test automation framework. The hybrid test automation framework generally accommodate both keyword as well as data driven. Or I can say, if I'm trying to implement keyword, data driven, all the frameworks together, that framework will be called as a hybrid framework. I'm going to write the test cases. In that particular test cases, I want to implement modular framework, data driven framework, and keyword framework. So when you implement all these three framework in a single test cases, then it will be called as a hybrid test automation framework. So first we discussed about the objective of automation tool. Second, we discussed about the test automation framework. Third, we discussed about the different type of automation framework which is available. Okay. So the next we will be discussing how to create a manual test cases. Then we'll go for the rest of the topic. I'm just writing some sample test case. Test case 1, validate username field in the login page. Now, if I want to validate the login page, I need some conditions. Condition number 1, username should contain only so I'm just writing a demo. I'm not going in detail. So I want to validate username field from the login page, where the condition will be username should contain only alphabetic character and maximum length is suppose 10. Suppose this is the test case, which this is one of the test case, and this is the condition. So now what I will do is manual test cases, as I said earlier, manually will write the test cases and will go to that application and will execute the test cases. Okay, I will just write on sample test cases. So this is one of the sample test cases. Test case ID, test case name, actions or step, test data, input condition or test data, expected result, status. So here you can see, sample test cases. Sample test case template. See, test case template need to be different from the different client. They depend on the clients, depend on the company policies. They will be created different formats. But there are some common templates which will be available on all type of test cases. So test case ID, test case name, action or step, test data, input condition, expected result, actual result, and the status. So test case ID is the unique identification number for every single test cases. As we discussed about the naming standard, whenever you are creating a test cases, you have to specify the unique identification number. So what is my test cases? I am going to validate username field. So let me take some unique ID, user underscore 001, name of the test cases, validate username field. Next is step or action. How exactly you are going to execute this particular username field, or test action or description. Here you have to describe how exactly you are going to validate your test cases. So what I can do is step 1, open the application. Step 2, click login. Step 3, enter username. What is the condition here? We have to go to the condition. Username should contain only alphabetic. Maximum length is 10 characters. So you must remember one thing. You have to always start with the positive test cases. What is positive test cases here? Let me type positive. How the system should work. How the system should work? It should work only It should work only when you entered alphabets. Alphabets and length is maximum length is up to 10. So that means it can accept less than 10 character also. So first condition should be always matched to the given condition. So what I can do is enter the username as enter username in only max length is 10. Now test data. Here you have to enter the specific input which you are going to give. So what is the condition I specified? Username should have maximum of length is 10 and it should be only alphabetic character. Let me write my name as Robert, which is only alphabetic, and it is also comes according to the length of maximum 10 character. If I enter this input, what should be the expected output? So let me, because its system should work as per this condition. So let me write it should accept. So this is my first test cases. What I'm doing, test case ID, unique identification number, name of the test cases. I'm going to validate username field. How I'm going to validate? I'm going to validate by entering the alphabetic character, which is maximum of length is 10 character. What is the input? I'm going to enter the input as input value as Robert. What you are expecting? If I entered input as Robert, it should accept the given value. Now, these two columns need to be blank. Why? Because this will be comes after once you started executing your product. So for in that case, what I will do now, suppose for example, my this particular login functionality or login field is developed. So I will go to that application manually. I will enter the input. I will check. I will get some output. That output I will write in the actual result. For example, just imagine when I entered username as Robert, it is accepted. So now compare your actual with expected. If both are same, the result will be pass. Suppose due to some reason it is not accepted. There's some reason, there are some errors, there are some defect. When I enter the input condition is Robert, it should accept it. That is my expected one. Expected result is client expected. Actual result is as per the application provides. So it is not accepted. So now my result will be. So one fail is equal to one single defect. So if you ask the question, how I can able to do it in the automation, the same method and the same process, only the difference will be instead of writing the test cases manually inside Excel file, we are going to use an automation tool, and instead of writing in the normal English statement, we are going to select some supported programming. So first we discuss what is automation, what is the objective of automation testing, what is the goal of automation testing, what are the different type of automation framework is available. Then we discuss how to create a manual test cases by using a single or simple test case format. So this condition you will get in the requirement document. In the requirement document, you can able to find out all the different type of requirement and the condition for each and every requirement. With the help of those particular requirement document, you have to create this particular test cases. So generally, we will be using a Microsoft Excel to create the test cases. But nowadays we have a lot of test management tools are available in market. Using the test management tool, we
Yeah.
will be creating a test cases like Alum, Xera, RQM, and most of the companies they have a own test management tool. Using the tool, we are going to create the test cases when we talk about manual testing. I'll also show you some of the important automation testing tools which is available in market. Here you can see these are some of the important test automation tools which is available in market. If you consider for performance testing, we have this much list of tools are available. And out of all these tools, the most important tool will be considered as a load runner, which is not actually from a vendor Mercury, it is from HP, and now it has been changed to Micro Focus. And for Java testing tool, in the sense unit level testing. So the most popular unit level testing tool is called as a JUnit. So basically it is not actually a J tool, it is like a framework which can be implemented inside your Java project, inside your Java Eclipse platform. Link checking tool, functional and regression testing. So for functional testing, we have QTP. Nowadays, it is UFT from Micro Focus, Silk Test, and the most popular open source test automation functional testing tool will be called as a Selenium. So I haven't started about the Selenium. So don't worry. Definitely, I will start when I will explain about the Selenium concept. I will tell you about the difference between Selenium Remote Controller (RC) and Selenium WebDriver. Any questions? So next is what we are going to do is, yeah, next 2 days we are not going to discuss about theoretical part. We are going to discuss about the Selenium WebDriver demo part. So I will be explaining about what is exactly a Selenium, what are the different components are available in Selenium. In Selenium, I will explain about, I will show you a demo of Selenium ID also. I will also explain you the how to write the code in Selenium WebDriver with the help of the Java Eclipse. Uh, and how to make a verification and validation. There are some verification and validations are available. I will show you a couple of code, like for example, around 2 to 3 code I will take and I will explain the code line by line, and I will tell you how that code is working and how we can able to do the functional testing in the Selenium WebDriver part. What is Pareto principle? Pareto principle is something called as a type of testing principle, which will be like 80-20, 80 and 20, which is mean by whenever we are developing, whenever we are planning to test any project, there is a just an assumption, like for example, when you have a huge experience on particular domain, you will be master on that particular domain, so you have a good ideas to find out any problem easiest way. Like that, the Pareto principle says whenever you start testing the product, 80% defect is possible to reach once you completed 20% code. That means when I'm going to execute my product, the whole product is available. Out of the whole product, when you plan for only 20% of your program, 20% of working functionality, you can expect 80% of defects from the 20% code. That is something called as a Pareto principle. And what they want to say is, always when you plan for conducting a testing, go for in-depth of the software test. Don't think it's a small feature, small functionality, it is a big feature or big functionality. You have to go thoroughly to conduct the testing. Model-based testing, something like it's depend whether it is really required or not. Like it depend on the requirement. We can able to say whether it is because we cannot say that 100% that all the companies are using a model-based testing industries. But of course, because whenever and wherever it is required based on our client requirement, we can able to go for model-based testing requirement testing also. To share the code, I will just talk to the representative on the point of contact person, and based on that, you will get it all those things. I will check and update you about the model-based test. What are the different type of model-based tools are available? I will share the tool names tomorrow.